Let me take a moment and explain the ISO 50001 Energy Management System Standard, which was recently published in June 2011. The Energy Management System Standard follows the same Plan, Do, Check, Act model that other management system standards do, such as the ISO 14001 Environmental Management System Standard and the ISO 9000 series of Quality Management System Standard. So it follows the same basic model. The advantage of that is that many of the elements will be in place at organizations that already have this type of system in place, and also it allows for compatibility and integration of systems. If you recall, 14001 Environmental Management System had the basic premise of continual process improvement. ISO 50001 also has that basic premise. So many of the elements, in fact, I believe all of the elements that you see in ISO 14001, you will observe in 50001 as well. But let's chat about this process part for a moment. Almost every one of the elements in 50001 are also found in 14001. So there is a requirement to develop an environmental policy in 14001. There's a requirement to develop an energy policy in 50001. You also have to identify your legal and other requirements. You have to identify your objectives and targets and develop action plans to achieve those objectives and targets. Within 50001, as with 14001, you define your roles, responsibilities, and authorities. You train people to those. You develop the appropriate documentation. There's a communication aspect. There's also operational controls associated with 50001, just as there are with these other management system standards. They're the same components of the checking and corrective action process, meaning that you need to have monitoring and measurement methods in place, metrics, performance indicators, and the like. There's auditing requirements, and there are also requirements to have a robust corrective action process. And of course, there's a management review part of ISO 50001 as well. And in that management review, you have to have senior management review how you're doing on your performance measures, as well as whether or not you're achieving your objectives and targets. So 50001 mirrors 14001 directly. Energy management, environmental management are integrated when you integrate the two systems. But as I alluded to earlier, 50001 is more than a process standard. It is also a performance standard. You have to reduce your energy usage under 50001. Now, the standard doesn't tell you how much energy you have to reduce. You as an organization define that. However, there are certain things that are unique to 50001. You have to develop an energy profile. An energy profile is essentially describing where and how you use energy. Based upon an energy profile, you decide what your significant energy users are. And then obviously you attack those first. You develop a baseline of energy use based upon at least 12 months of data. And you also have to develop energy performance indicators to essentially track the amount of energy you're using against some type of production numbers. Lastly, with energy management under 50001, you have to consider energy usage in design, and you have to consider energy usage in procurement. Whether these are new things you're procuring or replacement parts, you must have processes in place to consider those things. So ISO 50001 Energy Management System Standard is very much like the ISO 14001 standard in that it is a process standard with the same elements, and then you have the additional requirements of a performance standard to drive energy reduction.